Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Robert Canter. This is The Passion. Having found Jesus guilty of the crime of blasphemy, the Jewish leaders bring him before Pontius Pilate. At this point, Jesus hasn't had anything to eat or drink since the Last Supper. He hasn't had any sleep, so he must be exhausted. There are injuries he may have suffered during his arrest and mistreatment by the Jewish leaders. There is also the dehydration and blood loss as a result of extreme stress and hematidrosis. Pontius Pilate was the 5th prefect of the Roman province of Judea, not a prestigious post. If not for the crucifixion of Jesus, he would just be an obscure footnote in the history of the Roman Empire. Pilate is warned by his wife to have nothing to do with this, and his reluctance as a judge is clear in the Bible. "What accusation do you bring against this man? If this man were not a criminal, we would not have handed him over to you. Take him yourselves and pass judgment on him according to your own law. We cannot legally put anyone to death." The Jewish leaders had already found Jesus guilty of blasphemy according to their own laws. It is said that they brought him before Pilate because only he could impose the death penalty. But the Jewish leaders certainly had no issues stoning other people to death, like Saint Stephen. So why did they bother to bring him before Pilate? The short answer is politics, but also to fulfill Christ's prophecy. Maybe the Jewish leaders were reassuring their allegiance to the empire by handing over someone who threatened their authority in Judea. Maybe it was because the Jewish leaders were fearful of Jesus' followers and wanted to pass the buck. Maybe it was because they wanted to make an example of Jesus and force him to suffer crucifixion, a Roman penalty, and in doing so dissuade his followers, or anyone else, from challenging their authority. Or maybe it was all of the above. Pilate doesn't care about these religious squabbles among the Jews, so the chief priests and elders try to paint Jesus as an enemy of the state. "We have found this man subverting our nation. He opposes payment of taxes to Caesar and claims to be the Messiah, a king." When questioned by Pilate, Jesus doesn't give clear answers. Not being a Jew, Pilate doesn't comprehend what is going on here. "Are you the king of the Jews? Are you saying this on your own initiative, or have others said it to you about me? I'm not a Jew, am I? Your own people and your chief priests handed you over to me. What have you done? My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were from this world, my servants would fight to prevent me from being handed over. So you are a king. You say that I am a king. I have been born and have come into the world for this reason, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." Truth? What is truth? Pilate's question simply seems to be a rebuke. Jesus is being charged with crimes against the Roman Empire, and here he is getting into philosophy. But for Pilate, this is all about politics. Pilate's job is to ensure order in Judea, but Jewish zealots haven't been making that easy. If he doesn't condemn Jesus, the Jewish leaders will probably start a rebellion. If he does, then Jesus' followers might, putting Pilate between a rock and a hard place. If Pilate can't maintain order in his post, then Emperor Tiberius will find someone who can. Not finding Jesus guilty, Pilate tries to pass the buck to King Herod, and then tries unsuccessfully to have Jesus set free. In an attempt to appease the crowds, he decides to subject Jesus to an alternative, but still brutal form of punishment.